there, Shell here, and welcome back to my channel. I'm going to be trying something a little bit different today. I am getting kind of sick at looking at my face while editing videos, so I figured I'd give myself something else to look at while doing it, and it goes in line with what I wanted to talk about today, which is how I keep up with my mental health. And the way that I do that is I find creativity very relaxing. So my de-stressing tends to be a lot of like paper crafting, decorative planning, and things like that. What I found was that I was not very good at using planners because I found them boring. And I do have ADHD, so it is really important for me to be able to use a planner, to be able to use lists, because without them, I'm floundering with them. So without them, I'm just like completely lost. But it was impossible for me to continue to use. I would buy the planners, use them for a week, and then they'd be done because they were just not exciting at all. And that's when I discovered the Happy Planner system. I've been using Happy Planner since about 2017. I am starting to transition away from it. The style just like isn't really working for me anymore. I am going to continue at least for the rest of this year though. One, because I have a planner that goes till the end of the year. And then two, I have so many sticker books specifically for Happy Planner that I really just want to get through them. I am terrible at hoarding stickers. I'm terrible at hoarding crafting supplies, period. So I am trying to train myself to actually use my supplies. So I am going very sticker heavy this year. And this is becoming really more of a self-care item, in that I really am just kind of using it as a sticker book rather than a full-blown planner, but that is okay. I do have other ways of keeping myself on track, and I do still use it in some ways as a planner. And I do love this one. I love the colors on it. This quote, be happy with what you have while working for what you want, is kind of just, it encapsulates what I've been trying to work toward since last year, is really just trying to make peace with where I am in life instead of constantly striving for the next good thing. And, you know, really trying to just be happy in the now. Not there yet, but, you know, we're working on it slowly but surely. Plus, Helen Keller is just an amazing person. Her story is amazing. So this is usually like the first page, like anybody that does like plan with me videos, which I do watch way more than, I think I spend more time watching plan with me's than I spend actually planning, but that's okay. I did not write my name in this book because it doesn't leave my house, and there is literally nobody else in this house that's going to think like, oh, this might be mine, except for my son, but he takes my things whether my name is on it or not, so it doesn't really matter. So this is, I mean, there's a lot of like cool features of the Happy Planner, which I can certainly do a video about if anybody is interested in that. There are a lot of channels that go over that. They do a lot of like walkthroughs of their planners and unboxings and things like that, so you can also look it up that way. Or like I said, any of the planners that I showed today, I can certainly do a more thorough walkthrough if anybody is interested. So for this book, what I use the most is the monthly. I am really starting to use this as a kind of a scheduler, in that anything that has a specific date and time, it goes in here. I don't really use it too much as a working to-do list. Like, I will write to-do lists in here, but I don't normally reference it. I do use this for knowing when appointments and meetings are though. So like, as you can see, you know, first week of February, a lot of stickers and not a whole lot of anything else. Like I wrote a few notes in here, you know, and this top row is supposed to be for my husband's schedule because I'm always asking him what his schedule is because I never know. I always forget to write it down. Like it will eventually be written in because it would be very useful for me to have. I just keep forgetting to do it. But yeah, this one was very, it has become very much about just use all the stickers. Doesn't matter, use them. And then now this one is not as sticker heavy, but that's because I had pre-planned this layout before I had decided to go like crazy with the stickers. And this kind of follows the outline of how I used to do my planning in the Happy Planner, where I would do, you know, stickers, tasks, and then like kind of weekly checklists. But again, that's not really how I am using it that much. So like, again, next week, I don't have it filled in yet, but it is, once again, very sticker heavy. And it just, even if I never write anything in it, it makes me so happy just to be able to look at it, and look at all the stickers and the colors, and, you know, it's just nice and relaxing. And then again, I can just come to this calendar for, anything that is scheduled. I do try to put these things in my phone as well. It really just is a matter of which one I have with me when I'm scheduling things. The problem is if I do it in just one or the other, I am likely to forget. I am one of those people that needs to have things written down in like 2 different places, plus on a calendar, plus an alarm, or I'm just not going to remember. I once had to start a phone appointment while standing in line at Target because despite writing it down in 4 different places and having it in my phone, I didn't remember about it until my 15-minute alarm went off for the appointment. So yeah, that's just me. Now I use this one as the scheduler. So I will take, you know, the things that are in here, and then I move them over to this planner, which is kind of my day-to-day bullet journal. The bullet journal system is really just based on a style of a notebook that is kind of almost like a perpetual list. I don't have a key written down because I don't need it, but it's basically based on bullet points, and depending on what kind of bullet point you're using is the type of task it is or whether it's been completed. That's kind of like the basics of it. It's become a lot more creative than that as it has kind of taken planners by storm. This is where I really just decided to not care what anybody else thinks because it's my journal, and let my inner 3rd grader come out. I found a section of Walmart that had these really fun, not Walmart, Michael's, that had these really fun sticker patches. And it reminds me kind of like of the Lisa Frank days back in the 90s, but it's a more updated version. So I got a couple of those to put on my notebook. Obviously I had to get the S for my initial. Llamas, I am all about the llamas. I love llamas. I have llamas all over the place. The llamas and the foxes, those are my 2 animals. And then of course the narwhal, because I just love them. They're the unicorns of the sea. So they're kind of like half unicorn, half mermaid. So, I mean, they combine the best of both worlds, really. What more can you ask for? And then I also found some stickers to put on the inside of the journal. And this is on one of those Target label pockets that you tend to find at the beginning of the school year. This is one of the really long ones because they're the only ones I could find when I went to Target at the time. I just trimmed it up top with my paper trimmer, and I'm not using it for the pocket. I really just used it so that I can move the stickers if I want to, because if I put it down straight on the backing, they wouldn't come up, and I really like them and don't want to ruin them, and want to be able to move them when I eventually switch notebooks after I reach the end of this one. So the way that I use this one is I do have different pages in here. Like, for example, I do have a goals page here of things that I want to accomplish this year. I don't really do New Year's resolutions. They tend not to work for me, but I do have like things that I would like to achieve. And they're more kind of like broad goals rather than having like a specific thing that I'm trying to do. It works better for me that way. And it's almost like a vision board, I guess, is probably the best way to put it. This one's just a fun little page that, you know, as I find the music and books and movies that are like, that's what highlighted my year, that's what I'll be putting in here just for memory keeping. These next two pages are a really important part of my mental health tracking. And I definitely recommend them for anybody who is interested in tracking their either their health or their moods or anything. You know, I've got the period tracker over here, which anybody who bleeds on a monthly basis will understand why that's important. And then I have the mood tracker on the right side. Now, if you saw my introduction video, you'll know that I have both bipolar disorder and borderline personality disorder. So the mood tracker is really important for me. This kind of copies the year in pixel idea that you'll see in a lot of bullet journals. But for me, it needed to be tailored for my own mental health. So I have the scale on the right here that is basically a mood descriptor for bipolar disorder. So anything in this middle section is kind of like a stable mood. Anything above that is elevated when you're looking at hypomania or mania, and anything below that is depression. And because I also deal with mixed episodes, I do have a marker for that. I also have something for my anxiety. And then I've also included some of the things that are very classic for borderline personality disorder, just because both have a lot of mood lability in them. And so by tracking it this way, I can really take a look and see like, okay, is this my bipolar that is acting up, in which case I may need to adjust my medication, or is this more borderline related, in which case it's something that I need to bring to my next therapy appointment so I can go over it with my therapist. And the reason they are on side-by-side pages is because, you know, menstruation can affect moods. And so I really am looking this year to see how my moods go along with my cycle, and see if there's any kind of relation there, so that I can take that to my doctor if it looks like something needs to be addressed there as well. And then here, you know, just gift ideas, wish list. Obviously, nothing's written down there yet. It's not really been a focus for me. An area where I can just write down different ideas. You know, I keep a blog that I haven't really been writing in because, like, I kind of just lost my creative juices, if you will. So I am hoping that I'll get back to writing soon. I'm just not there yet. This has a lot more listed. These are ideas I have for mental health videos. So if you do have any ideas of what you'd like to see me discuss when it comes to living with a mental illness or parenting with a mental illness, let me know and I'll make sure that I write it down here. And if you if there is something that you would like to see, I'll definitely make that a priority over some of the other things I have written here. So, you know, just a few random pages. You know, I do try to get a little bit creative with like my cover pages for each month. One thing that I have used bullet journaling and planning for recently is to kind of combat my perfectionism and to stop worrying about straight lines and perfect circles, and things like that, because it does get in the way of things, and there are a lot of opportunities that I've missed because my perfectionism has kept me from trying something that I might fail at. So I'm really trying to use the way that I lay things out, um, as a way to be okay with things not being perfect. Like I can see everywhere where it's not a straight line, it's not a perfect shape, but we're going to be okay with that. And we're going to let it be. Um, and then, so here I just keep things. So I've been playing with layouts in here because this is the first year I'm keeping a bullet journal. So I still haven't quite figured out what layout works best for me. I'm also the type of person that gets kind of bored with the same thing all the time. So I am constantly changing things up and then like scrapping the things that work or scrapping the things that don't work and keeping the things that work. Like for instance, this page, I absolutely loved it before I started writing on it. Like, you know, I am trying to use up my stickers so that I'm not inundated with supplies because I've really got to start using some of these. But what I've discovered is that this isn't the journal to use them in. It became way too cluttered and it became really hard for me to keep track of everything. And I need a cleaner daily planner, is what I'm discovering. This is just, you know, a reading challenge that is technically from 2019, but we don't need to worry about that little detail. So again, here, this is this week's layout. So I went a little simpler on the stickers. Even this ended up being a little too much for me. Again, I was just really wanting to use the stickers that I have. Like I bought a lot of sticker kits for a planner system called Hobonichi because I had a journal similar to it that I was using last year, that I just didn't really keep up with. So I have all these stickers for it and I'm trying to find a creative way to use them. And then so because this is just too much, you can see that as I'm working on my schedule for next week, I'm doing like just pen, and to see if I have an easier time using it when it's not quite so busy. And I'm thinking this may actually be the way I need to go. And then just use my stickers in my happy planner. And that's fine if that's the way that it needs to be. So this is my everyday, you know, this is where I keep my running task lists. That's really important for me. If I don't write things down, I will forget about them. I mean, I forget about them when I write them down, but at least I can pick up my journal and actually, you know, look at the things that I need to get done. And it's very fulfilling to cross things off as they get done. If anybody has ADHD, you'll know that like the idea of getting something done is not motivation enough to actually do it. Part of having ADHD means that you don't get the dopamine release that most people get when they've completed a task. So it requires extra incentive in order to complete it. And it may seem silly, but actually being able to like cross something off of a list is very fulfilling for me. So I'm hoping like as I do this more, I will start to become a lot more productive. This week is not a good one to go off of because I was dealing with a sinus infection for the first half of the week, which meant I wasn't doing anything. So those are my two main planners. There's a couple of other ones that I use in order to keep track of things. So for example, um, in the other journal, the only thing that I really keep track in there as far as like mental health goes is you saw my mood tracker. And then I also have my medication tracker. Um, every week I do a medication habit tracker to make sure I'm taking my medications the way that I'm supposed to. Um, I've not really figured out how to incorporate tracking my mental health in my planner, but it is something that I have wanted to do. So I was really excited when I found this on a channel. One of my favorite YouTubers, Evangelina Skov, developed this mental health planner. So I went to Amazon and bought it. I didn't know what it was going to be in it. I had no idea, but I figured at the very least, I was supporting, a YouTuber whose content I loved, and that was good enough for me. But I was also interested to see, if this is something that would be useful for me, for my mental health. I'm still not quite sure how I'm going to use it. Once I do figure that out, I will do like an actual like flip through of the planner, just to give an idea of how you might be able to use it. Because what I've noticed when it comes to mental health planners is they tend to be very specific. They are either focused on like general mental health maintenance, which, there's nothing wrong with that, but it tends to be like, oh, did you drink your water, take your vitamins, and all of that. Whereas for me, it really needs to be a lot more nitty gritty than that. I have also seen planners that are like geared towards specific types of mental disorders. Like there have been systems or layouts that I've seen for bullet journals for people who have bipolar disorder, but because I also deal with ADHD and BPD, and those come with their own emotional regulation issues, I needed a different way to be able to track that, and the mood trackers that are there for either bipolar disorder or unipolar depression just is not enough for me. So I'm still working on that. I'm still trying to figure it out. So I will do a more in-depth review of this particular planner once I've kind of narrowed that down. I don't plan on this being very decorative. I don't plan on it, using a lot of stickers. I am thinking that it's going to be used more as kind of like a journal. And the only reason there's like stickers in here is because I have like so many Valentine's Day stickers, because they either came in holiday sticker sets, or like, for example, I used some stickers this week, because it came in like a sampler from a shop that I ordered on Etsy. I am not big on Valentine's Day. It's never been a favorite holiday of mine. Both my husband and I are kind of like, it's a made-up holiday, so we don't really celebrate it. I bought a few things for my son, just, any reason to make him feel special. And I remember, there was one particular Valentine's Day where my stepmom actually had something for me on my desk when I came home. And when I was younger, like Valentine's Day was even like, I just don't like it now. Like I don't like it as a holiday, but when I was younger, it was probably one of the most depressing days of the year for me. And I just remember how I felt walking into my room, and on my desk was a box of chocolates and a rose in a vase. And it just, to this day, gets me choked up, just because like it was just really sweet of her. And to just know that she was thinking of me, and to know that like, somebody cared enough to get me something, made a huge difference. So, that's something that I do try to do with my son, is to just have little things like that show him that I am thinking about him, especially on special days. Whew, that was a bit of a sidetrack, but so this is not going to be very typical. Like I'm not planning on using stickers in here at all. This is more likely what it's going to look like. Like I said, a lot more journaling, and really looking at like what I was feeling throughout the day and what triggered that feeling. And I'm going to zip through the last one because I just realized my son's bus is going to be coming in like 10 minutes. So this is the planner that, again, I bought this on clearance, hence the ink spot. It was like $3, so you know, it is what it is. But this is what I am using for my son's mental health. So this is a journal that I got from Michaels, and it is kind of like, it's a pre-printed bullet journal layout. So, you know, it's got like the month at a glance, it's got some goals, you know, bills. I'm not going to use that very often. And then any notes, there's an area to write down a quote, which I like. And then it's got a place here for the calendar. I use this for the school calendar, so looking at any days he has off, and also looking at the lunch calendar, because it's very important for my son that he knows what's going to be served at lunch that day. He likes to go to school like knowing what to expect for the day. And plus it also helps me when I'm meal planning. So when I'm like planning for the week, I'm not planning on eating pizza on Tuesday when he had pizza for lunch. So I use it to make sure I'm not cooking for dinner something that he had for lunch, because I've made that mistake before, and I do try to give him a somewhat healthy diet. This is just a to-do list, things that I need to get done that are directly related to him. This is a tracker for how his day is going. I have different patterns depending on if it's school or if it's at home. I also look to see if it's in the morning or the afternoon, just because it can give me a better idea of what triggered the behavior. And then this is what I'm using this for this month is really just to track when these things are done. And then next month I'll be working on starting to actually achieve the preferred outcome for each of these. So this month I'm kind of using it as a baseline. Next month I'll start using it to start better monitoring and controlling things, especially the amount of time he spends on electronics. I'm really trying to work on that. And then this is kind of a, you know, just an overview. Anytime like something fantastic happens, which reminds me there's something that I do need to write down in here. But any like really good moments, I'm going to write down on this page, just to have, you know, something to feel good about at the end of the month. And, you know, once I get a better grip on this, I will probably start going over it with him and sharing it with him so that it's something we can do together. And so he, you know, he knows that I'm really trying to help him and that he can have some say in what that looks like. So that is how I keep up with my mental health. And sorry, just checking to make sure his bus is not pulling up outside. But his bus is going to be here soon. But I really hope that this was helpful for you. If you'd like me to go in depth on any of the journals that I went over, let me know. Let me know if you liked the format of this video, or if you prefer when the camera is on me and I'm speaking to the camera. Until next time, take care, stay well, bye.